I would say for the scale that we operate at, having a robust, like sort of self-service design system with like fully componentized specs is probably overkill. Um, what we do have, and there was a previous designer at Mystery who like had gone down the road of making like a very elaborate design system in, or I should say, design system spec in design only and had no corresponding engineering components. And like, it has, an order of magnitude more complexity than we actually need for the scale and complexity of our products. And even when we are a B2B company, that a lot of our experiences are very consumer driven, that having like a massive set of enterprise components isn't necessarily even desirable. So one of the things that I've done is sort of normalize a lot of the components that we are using and a lot of the design patterns that we're using. And so I basically have like, a sketch file of reusable pieces. And then our engineers will then like sort of componentize those pieces as we go. So for example, we componentize our buttons and like our checkboxes and things like that. But we aren't really at a scale yet where it makes sense to sort of, but I think, by the way, does make sense at a much larger scale to actually have like, a dedicated team owning the design and implementation and updates and, change management of like a centralized design system, to the tune of like material design or AUI at Amazon. I think, for the scale that we operate at, we tend to keep it a little more simple and tend to be more focused on sort of creating patterns as we need them and scaling them than in sort of creating like a sort of top down, here is our overall design system and that we're going to go, spend 6 to 12 months building. I think there my inclination, coming into teams was like, oh yeah, we should do a design system. And I think realizing, that as an early stage company that like that there is such a thing as sort of pre-optimizing. And I think that's one that I've been cognizant not to pre-optimize.